In an interview with Ghana TV9, attorney Sanjeev Datadin said that too many Guyanese view justice solely as what happens inside the courtroom. He argued that true justice must extend beyond trials and sentencing, becoming part of everyday policing and community life.
Justice, in most people's eyes, relate to a court. I don't think it really is that, though. I think justice goes beyond that. Justice goes in better policing. Best justice goes in that when you make a complaint to the police is not going to consider who the person is, whether it's their friend, how much money he has. They're going to do their damn job. That's not the norm, and that must change.
Datadin was especially critical of how police handle domestic violence cases, describing the system as marked by bias and neglect.
Well, that's really the police problem. It's not the attitude of the people. If when you went to make a complaint, the police were receptive, polite, and the environment was such that you didn't feel that you were being laughed at and embarrassed, and they would talk about your things, it's ridiculous. They take your videos, they take your statements, and they hand it to the media for money. They should go to jail for doing that. But the problem now is everybody wants to see the video, but then they say, oh, don't circulate it. Everybody wants to see. And if they don't see, they don't believe. And people feel the need because you see, even the victims going on social media, the victims of abuse to defend themselves because of the harsh things that people do. We got to change that.
He added that communities must also take responsibility, stressing that collective thinking has to shift if families are to be better protected.
I don't know. The community as a whole is probably the thinking needs to change. I mean, I'll tell you the situation. So if you hear your neighbors quarreling and screaming, most people turn away and close the window. I think that attitude has to change. Importantly, the way the police deals with it must change too. They can't be callous. They can't be fed up that every time you come in to make a report, they can't have that continuous thing.
Data didn't acknowledge that Guyana's laws are strong, but insisted that the real problem lies in their application.
I think we have good domestic violence act. Our recent legislation about that is good. I think our problem is implementation. I think our problem is the people who must implement it. I think the police needs to be overhauled and changed, and they need to answer for what they're doing now. They can't continue to do this.
Meanwhile, Superintendent Shalon Daniel, speaking in the program Police and You, addressed the measures being taken by law enforcement to strengthen protections against domestic and family violence.
So once you come, you make the report, and these are the things that is outlined. The police is in a position because we have over 2,000 police would have been trained by the ministry as it relates to handling and dealing with domestic violence and the methods of advice that is there to give out to members of the public. So all we can safely say is encourage persons to utilize those avenues. So if you're at home and you know for sure that money is not being filtered into the home one way or the other, you will not shut out. There are systems that are in place. You have the Ministry of Human Services. They are the persons that can guide you and advise you further. And there is redress in the courts under the Domestic Violence Act.
Daniels encouraged the public to use these avenues, emphasizing that the resources are there and the training is ongoing, but engagement from the public remains key. Daniels noted that Domestic Violence Act has now been bolstered by Family Violence Act, providing a more inclusive and responsive framework. She emphasized that training for officers is ongoing and the resources are available, but she called on the public to engage with these systems to make them truly effective. For Datadin, the issue is about more than laws and courtrooms. It's about reshaping police culture and community attitudes. For the police, the systems are in place. Together, both perspectives highlight that Guyana's fight against domestic violence requires not just policies, but people willing to use them. Adana Dorek, Guyana TV9 News.